going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Lucid Motors is going to move big here, likely in the after hours, if not tomorrow morning. We have earnings that are in the after hours, and this is going to be very important. Investors want to know a couple key things, which we will talk about here in this video. As well as that, we have some breaking news for Lucid Motors that is great for publicity and growing the business overall and growing that backlog of pre-orders. That is definitely something to talk about, but the main focus of this video is going to be going over why I think we will actually see another move to the upside based off of earnings. On a technical basis, you guys can see right here, we'll break it down, but it is incredibly bullish. We're also going to talk about the potential for a continued gamma squeeze and a short squeeze because we are getting at this critical level. We could go either way. If we go higher, you're potentially looking at some forced share recalls and just a lot of options in general that are going to run in the money and a lot of hedging that will have to happen from the market makers. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Hit that like button for me, consider subscribing to the channel, consider sharing this video with somebody else that is invested in Lucid Motors to get all of the most updated information. And as well as that, check out the sponsor of this video. There's a link in the description. When you click on this link, it brings you to this page. Get 5 free stocks up to $3,500 each. When you start a account, you get 1 free stock. When you deposit any amount, it could be 1 cent, you get 1 more free stock. And if you deposit $2,000, you get an additional 3 free stocks. All of these stocks valued in between $9 and $3,500 each. I got a free share. And this is a better promotion than I even got. I got 1 free share of Starbucks when I deposited $100. They've upped the promotion, so you can obviously make a lot more now, but they give out insanely good free stocks. Free share of Starbucks, that's over a 100% return. So if you guys want to be a part of that, help support the channel, check that out, link down below in the description. But let's talk about Lucid Motors, up about 0.5% as we currently speak. And something that is very important to point out is this technical setup that we have going on. Let me just break down why this is incredibly bullish, because after all, we've just been pretty much climbing continuously to the upside. We've kind of stalled out just a little bit right here, but take a look at this trend line. This is probably the most obvious trend line that I've seen in a very long time. Take a look at that. Just incredibly bullish overall. But what I really want to point out is this $44 level is critical. And we're at $44.15 right now. This is really our support level, but we went up to $48, fell back down to about $40 per share, now back up approaching these secondary all-time highs. We know the all-time high was about $65 before we did merge into Lucid Motors, but this is almost all-time highs since we have merged into Lucid Motors and started trading as this merged company. So we're definitely looking here for this next breakout. And if there's a reason to have this breakout, we could see a ton of FOMO buyers going into the stock. And we should know that by the after hours move, if not the move tomorrow morning. So if you're seeing this video and earnings have already happened, this is a very applicable video. And I would definitely watch through the whole entire thing. I do expect a decent move after the earnings call. I believe the earnings call is going to be at 5 o'clock today. That is Eastern time. That would be what, 3 o'clock if you're Pacific time. Now, let's just talk about where I think this could go, because I have this line right here at about $55 per share. If we get a good announcement, a lot of pre-orders or something else along those lines, we could definitely make a move towards about $55. We'll likely get some resistance there and probably fall back down to about $50 per share. But still, there's definitely some room for this to go higher. And the fact that the Rivian IPO was such a big success, and that company is worth almost $120 billion, it supports Lucid Motors' current valuation at about $72 billion. Now, who's to say, you know, they're undervalued, overvalued? I don't know. If you're buying Lucid for the long term, then definitely you're probably safe buying it at these prices. And by long term, I mean 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That's my full intention here. So I do have a couple trades on this. I might make a trade by the end of today, but this is really just a long-term buy and hold for me when it comes down to it. I don't want to ever sell my shares until I could borrow against them. Instead of paying taxes on that, I could just borrow against it for 2 to 3%. But that's really a topic for a different video. Now, let's get into the raw data that you guys need to know. Start off with the option chain analysis. And really what we see expiring this Friday is a lot of calls that are already pretty deep into the money, from about the $38 strike all the way to where we are currently at, the $44 strike. Just a lot of activity overall, millions of shares that have to be hedged for by the market makers. But right outside of the money, you're looking at substantial activity as well. Right here at the $45 strike, 12,692 contracts that are held in people's brokerage accounts, as well as that 3,500, 3,600, 4,000, 3,000, and then the big one at $50 strike at 14,167 for open interest, with 20,000 for volume on the day. So if we do see that move, up past these critical levels, you're going to see a rush to basically delta hedge on these shorted calls by the market makers, and that just means going out and buying the shares on the open market, likely in the after hours, since we are not going to have that much time throughout the rest of the week. So the gamma levels are going to go up, the more hedging that has to happen closer to expiration and the farther these contracts run into the money. But you are still likely seeing hedging done for probably the $40 strike all the way, like I said, to the $44 strike. A lot of these that are deep into the money probably already been hedged for, but you really never know when you're talking about market makers and their huge liquidity pools, right? But let's talk about the Ortex data, and then let's get into this breaking news from Lucid Motors and Motor Trend. So the estimates here, they're kind of off with Ortex estimates with really any stock, but we're looking at 8.18% short interest of free float, 44.38 million shares that are sold short. The exchange reported data came out November 9th, and we did have 54.22 million shares that were sold short. Short percentage of free float at 9.99%, a 1 days to cover. What I want you guys to know though is there is plenty of ammo for short sellers to short the stock or sell the stock short, and that's eventually going to happen. So throughout all of this, this is only the data, only my opinions. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. So don't base any trades based off of directly what I am saying. Go with your gut. Go with what you think. Go with the data, whatever you guys want to go with. But do not blame me. I don't know exactly what is going to happen. But like I said, there is a decent amount of shares that still can be sold short. The share utilization is at 54.73%. So out of 100% of shares that can be lent out, 54.73% of those shares are lent out. So a little bit over half. So this is definitely on the lower side. Now the free flow on loan, see, you can't use, these estimates just suck. Free flow out on loan at 7.72%. That's impossible if the current estimates for the short interest is 8.18%. Just doesn't make a lot of sense across the board. But days to cover estimate at 0.88 days to cover. Now, let's move on to that and let's talk about this Motor Trend situation. So Lucid Motors, a tweet 44 minutes ago, automotive progress usually happens in baby steps, slowly, like a white oak sapling growing in the forest. But every now and then a new car jumps off the automotive forest floor like a rainbow eucalyptus, advancing like crazy while making a colorful splash. That is what Motor Trend said. And here's the actual tweet from Motor Trend 5 hours ago. The Lucid Motors Air is the 2022 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Once again, a high-performing, long-range, game-changing electric sedan from a California startup earns our golden calipers. Learn why it won right here. And you guys could check this out. Basically, everything that was said in this tweet. The high-performing, long-range, game-changing, technology, all that good stuff. That's why it basically won. But what this is doing, because Motor Trend is very popular, it's got almost 1 million followers. They have a big influence. A lot of people, if you're a car lover, you know Motor Trend. And if you don't know about Lucid Motors, you're going to know after Lucid Motors has won the 2022 Car of the Year. So I think this could add to a lot of pre-orders and overall just be a great thing for Lucid Motors and growing that backlog. But that's going to be the main thing investors are really concerned about for today and in after hours, is going to be seeing if we have more back orders. Last we knew we had 13,000 pre-orders, that obviously about 500 of those will be delivered this year, the rest of them in next year. We'll want to see how backed up that backlog is, as well as any new innovations that come out. It's not really expected to have any, crazy revenue numbers. We just started delivering vehicles, so that's not really going to matter. In the sense, it's going to be the guidance from management, from Peter Rawlinson, from the board, whatever else they do have to announce to us. And I think the fact that they are doing earnings means that we do have some good announcements, because technically Lucid Motors does not have to come out with earnings. Yes, they have been public, but there's no revenue. There's nothing crazy to really go over. So that's going to be all for this video. Like I said, check out the link for Moomoo if you guys have not already. Support the channel, get 5 free stocks. You guys cannot go wrong by doing that. Free level 2 trading data as well as news, and the news here is incredible. Faster you can get the news, the better off you will be. And this company is actually trading on the NASDAQ under Futu Holdings. So if you guys like the trading platform, you guys can invest in the company just like I have done myself. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed. Not a financial advisor throughout any of this video or anything in general here on YouTube, but definitely check it out if you guys have not already. Now, that's going to be all for this video. Hit that like button for me, all that good stuff. Consider subscribing to the channel, but I will see you in the next one.